Klubnik, quick throw down to the goal line. Touchdown, Cade Klubnik.
The Clemson Tigers are in. They have a chance, and that's all they wanted. The path ahead is going to be tough, but absolutely nobody expected this team to get to this point. But here they are, and I want to talk about how they got here, what players have stepped up and been spark plugs, and what the Tigers have to do to give themselves a chance to pull off some upsets. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 40,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so let's talk about these Clemson Tigers. At the start of this season, if you told me this team would end up in the college football playoff, I probably would have laughed in your face. Let's be honest, absolutely nobody saw this coming. This wasn't some veteran-loaded squad everyone picked to steamroll their conference. We're talking about a team that lost a bunch of big names, had to rely on younger talent, and basically entered the year with zero expectations outside their own locker room. But here we are at the end of the season, and Clemson's earned themselves a ticket to the biggest stage of all. It's downright crazy, but it's also super exciting, and I can't wait to see what they can do. And I want to break down how they did it, who stepped up when it mattered most, and what they need to do now if they want to keep this dream alive. So the journey wasn't smooth. Early on, this Clemson team looked like it was still stuck in neutral, trying to figure out who they even were. A lot of their guys were either unproven, under the radar, or just not on anybody's short list as difference makers. And the first game of the year? Yeah, they got absolutely steamrolled by Georgia. At first, they looked kind of disjointed, missing on simple throws, struggling to finish drives, and giving off this vibe that maybe the glory days in Death Valley really were actually starting to fade. You know how people get. When a powerhouse loses its familiar faces, everyone assumes the program is toast. Tons of fans and experts basically rolled their eyes at Clemson, like, yeah, right, these guys are done. But the players never got the memo that they weren't supposed to be good. They kept grinding, kept pushing forward, and over time, you could just feel something start to click. It didn't happen all at once. There were still ugly stretches, some nail-biter finishes, and moments when it looked like they might fall off the map. But as the season went on, these guys turned all that uncertainty into determination. They refused to accept the script everyone tried to write for them. They found their own path, rallied around each other, and by the time the ACC championship rolled around, they were ready to show the world they belonged. Facing SMU for the title, Clemson pulled off one of those wins that screamed, "We're for real, stop doubting us." They kind of struggled to finish off SMU, but I think SMU should just get the credit for making that comeback. They are a really good team as well. So they punched their ticket to the college football playoff, and now, well, now the Tigers have a real shot to shock the world again. Junior quarterback and former 5-star prospect Cade Klubnik looked to head into his second year in the full-time starting role. He initially looked like a talented but still developing piece of the puzzle for Clemson, but over the course of the season, he sharpened his decision-making and found a real rhythm. Phil Maffa, the veteran running back, shouldered tough yardage between the tackles, while younger backs like Jay Haynes provided fresh legs and an extra burst in critical moments. On the perimeter, Bryant Wesco Jr. emerged as a top target as a freshman, showing off game-changing speed and a knack for winning contested catches. Antonio Williams and TJ Moore added depth to the receiving core, while Jake Brenningstool at tight end offered a reliable outlet underneath, especially when the pocket collapsed. No single player carried this offense alone, but the unit gelled together as a group, proving that unity can overtake star power. On defense, Clemson relied on both rising stars and established leaders to shape its identity. At the point of attack, TJ Parker emerged as a difference maker, consistently pushing into the backfield and forcing quarterbacks off their spot. Sammy Brown's versatility and relentless energy at linebacker set the tone for a front seven determined to make opponents earn every yard. Barrett Carter brought some good experience and composure, diagnosing plays pre-snap and never shying away from contact. And then in the secondary, Avion Terrell's coverage skills and field awareness helped stop big plays, while guys like Khalil Barnes and Jaden Lucas stepped in during critical spots to give lockdown coverage and disrupt passing lanes. Collectively, this defense was very similar to the offense. It wasn't just about one superstar, it was about a group that learned how to trust each other and execute under pressure. But if there was one superstar on this team though, it would of course be Cade Klubnik. His sort of development into a field general stands as one of the season's defining sparks. Early struggles gave way to a more polished part of his game being in the pocket. This helped him learn and know when to push the ball downfield and when to take the safe completion. And then on the other side defensively, TJ Parker's emergence off the edge was huge. In games where the margin for error was razor thin, his ability to collapse the pocket and challenge opposing tackles shifted momentum, and then as I mentioned a second ago, Sammy Brown, who is a tackling machine, displayed the hustle and instincts that helped turn good defenses into great ones. But anyways, now comes the real test, and they're up against the Texas Longhorns, a team loaded with talent and looking to make a statement of their own after coming up short twice against Georgia. This is the part of the story where everyone expects Clemson's little fairy tale run to end, right? Well, let's not write them off just yet. Texas is no joke. They've got athletes everywhere. I think I made a prediction a few weeks ago that they were going to win the national championship. They've got a front seven that can crush any run game, corners who can lock up any receivers, and an offense that can light up the scoreboard if you blink at the wrong time. So how can Clemson hang with them? Well, it starts with Cade Klubnik keeping that cool head he found late in the season. No more panicking, no more forcing throws into triple coverage. He's got to trust his guys and spread the ball around. Wesco, Williams, Moore, they've all got to step up again, win their one-on-one matchups, and give Klubnik some open looks. The run game doesn't have to break huge gains, but it does have to keep the down and distance manageable, so Clemson isn't living in third and long purgatory all night. If they become one-dimensional, Texas will make them pay. On defense in this game, Clemson has to find a way to disrupt some of the Longhorns' rhythm. TJ Parker and the rest of that front need to get pressure early and often. They need to make Quinn Ewers sweat, make him move off his spot, force him into bad decisions, and Sammy Brown and Barrett Carter have to keep their eyes up and not fall for play action fakes or misdirection. Discipline is huge against a team with the speed that Texas has. Avion Terrell and the secondary can't let receivers get behind them for easy explosives. The margin for error is tiny, but this defense showed in the ACC championship that it can bend without breaking. Now it needs to show it can do that against even better competition. The beautiful thing about Clemson's season is that they've already proven they can handle tight margins. They learned how to grind out results when nothing was going their way. They learned how to trust each other as a unit rather than relying on one or two stars to carry them. That kind of experience matters this time of year. When you're in the playoff going up against a team most people think is bigger, faster, and stronger than you, all that matters. But don't just take my word for it. Here's what others have had to say.
The Clemson Tigers, no stranger to the college football playoff, will travel to Austin, Texas. This game will be 4 o'clock Eastern time on TNT and on Max on Saturday. Texas is a 12-point favorite. The total is 52. It's the first meeting between these schools in football, which is kind of interesting, is it not? Clemson reached the college football playoff as the highest ranked team. This is the 5th highest ranked conference champion, which I think is wild to think about, that the 16th ranked team in the country is in the field, but that's the way the format works, and Clemson is back in business. Can Clemson win some one-on-ones on the outside? Now, this is one area in which I think Clemson's improved by leaps and bounds from where they were last year. That's at wide receiver. They brought in 2 big-time freshmen in Bryant, Wesco, and TJ Moore. Those 2 are in the top 7 in receiving yards amongst freshmen. They have been outstanding all season long, and the best part is those 2 guys are number 2 and number 3 in the pecking order for the Clemson Tigers because Antonio Williams, he's number 1.
That's really all I got for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed it and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.